We measure the emissions from goods produced in the UK, but not those produced overseas. It puts industries in this country, especially energy-intensive industries like steel, actually at a disadvantage. So we will remove the perverse incentive to damage our own economy with no benefit to the climate as a whole. This will mean that we will be able to increase the number of good quality jobs in this country, particularly through green energy generation, and it will complement our green industrial revolution that we are developing and working closely with friends and colleagues in the United States who are working on broadly the same agenda. A Labour government will also make international institutions up their game. We have huge leverage as the biggest contributor to the Climate Investment Fund, managed by the World Bank and multilateral development banks. These funds have been criticised by civil society organisations for lacking democratic accountability. We will tackle the climate emergency by listening to those most affected. So, we will withdraw support from the World Bank managed climate funds and give more support to the United Nations Green Climate Fund instead, because we believe that to be It is about facing up to the crisis that we all face. It is about saying to people, this is a crisis, obviously. We have to do something about it, obviously, but we also have to make sure that everybody benefits from the green industrial revolution that we're putting forward. So in the Northeast yesterday, I was able to announce the creation of a regional development bank under Labour to ensure proper investment in sustainable industries all across the northeast and northwest of this country. Able to announce that we will be investing fairly across the whole country. And to young people, listen, your future is there. In good quality training, good quality jobs, high skilled jobs, innovative jobs. Use technology, use innovation, use high skill to protect our natural world, our biodiversity and our environment. Getting off the planet and running away isn't going to solve it. A holistic, creative approach that encompasses the imagination that's there in all of us, bring together the whole idea of imaginative protection of the world with high technology is something that I'm very keen to develop and promote. We're doing it in opposition as a Labour opposition, but it'd be so much better if we were a Labour government doing it as a government, working with us. We are in the jaws of a global political crisis, and we must not allow this moment to be stolen by the opportunists of the far right. It's a serious threat. Those that offer xenophobia, abuse and racism, misogyny, they get an airing for a while. They create an atmosphere of horror and hatred. They create an atmosphere where violence is carried out on the streets of cities all across the world. And at the end of it, all they've done is blame somebody for the shortage of schools, for the waiting lists at hospitals, for the problems of the bus service or whatever else it happens to be. But at the end of that, they've solved not one of those problems. They've created a horror story, which means they've got to go on and blame somebody else. It's a horrible downward spiral. Get on that racist downward spiral. It goes faster and faster and leads you to an abyss at the end of it. So our movement must be united in challenging the inequalities of the global economy, challenging the way in which whole communities have been laid waste by the interests of huge financiers in distant places, and strive for a world that's different, a world that's better, a world that understands where we've come from, but more importantly, has some concept of where we're going to in the future. Is it to be a world of war, of economic degradation, of growing inequality between the richest and the poorest, and of growing unaccountability of the richest and most powerful in the world? or is it to be a